Josh Allen's getting dangerous here, and like not in a good way, because Josh currently leads the NFL in turnover-worthy plays so far this season. He's got 19. Next closest is Justin Fields and Jared Goff with 15. So Josh Allen is a decent amount ahead of those guys. You lead turnover-worthy plays category by 4 as a quarterback. That's a lot. That's significant. And especially over the last couple of weeks, we've seen Josh Allen do this in the red zone, where it's not only you're taking points off the board for your own team, you're actively making it that much worse. It's such a multiplier when you throw a pick in the red zone. Now, I will say this. The first interception of this game where he threw it in the red zone, in the end zone, that one to me is not that big of a deal. It was 4th down. He was throwing it in the end zone. He was trying to give his guy a chance. Obviously, you'd rather not throw an interception because, of course, Patrick Peterson was able to take it a long ways out of the end zone, so they were getting a little bit better field position there. But he was taking a chance. He was trying to get some points. It was 4th down. It's not like he could throw it away and they could get a field goal. Second one in overtime, though, I looked like he was throwing it into double or triple coverage, man. It just looked like over the last couple of weeks, it feels like Josh Allen, and I know he's not. I don't mean it to come off like this as that like Josh Allen doesn't care. He does deeply. You see that in the post game afterwards. But it's almost like sometimes Josh Allen is throwing the ball as if he's throwing the ball in Madden, where when he throws the interception, you can go, man, and you just take the headset off, you put the controller down, and you turn the game off, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest consequences against you. Sometimes it comes out, and those very confident throws go for the Bills, and we call him one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen. Other times, over the last couple of weeks, it turns wins into losses. So I'm a little worried here about Josh Allen, Mike.
Yeah, I'm not worried for the Bills on the whole. You know, for a team that only has one loss in the Minnesota Vikings, for it to take that long, that many plays to go the Vikings' way for them just to win when you're down as many guys they were, basically their entire secondary. Greg Rousseau as well not playing in this one. Like, they were not even close to full strength, this Bills team, and still really should have won that game. But I do think the bigger thing is Josh Allen, as you said, the past 3 weeks, the turnovers. 3 straight games with 2 turnovers, 3 straight games with multiple turnover-worthy plays, as you mentioned, leads the NFL in turnover-worthy plays. That's the worrisome thing to me, is just how that kind of lull, those kind of mistakes like that. And he's still doing it with his legs on the ground. Like, he's still definitely moving this offense. But those are the mistakes that can kill you in the playoffs, and that you cannot have when you have to run a gauntlet that they're probably going to have to run if they're not going to get the 1 seed in the AFC, which is then, 4 games to a Super Bowl, unfortunately. So that, to me, is the worrisome thing if you are a Bills fan. Not that they lost this game, just Josh Allen maybe going these lulls.
Yeah, JM's going off in the chat. Says Bills offense around Allen is overrated and actually below average. Said Bills have a bottom 10 offensive line. Gabe Davis is one of the worst number 2 options in the NFL. No wide receiver 3 to speak of. No running game. No tight end threat. I think it's a little harsh.
Yeah, that's probably a little harsh.
Gabe Davis is not the worst wide receiver 2 in the NFL. Come on. Gabe Davis has always been a mainly vertical threat guy. So his entire production is going to be feast or famine. But he's with a quarterback where that works out. So I'm definitely pushing back on the worst wide receiver 2 in the NFL. I'm definitely pushing back on no tight end presence. I think Dawson Knox is fine. Yeah. I mean, like, come on.
It's the offensive line, I can be convinced, is the bottom 10.
A little bit of an issue.
In the NFL. Yeah.
I don't know. That's harsh, man. I think that one's I think that's some harsh criticism from JM there. On the flip side, though, dude, Justin Jefferson's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Oh, yeah. I'm going to get to a take about Justin Jefferson later in the show, but this was him yesterday. Elite 91.3 receiving grade, 16 targets, 10 receptions, 193 yards and a touchdown, 7 contested catches, 8 first downs, 5 explosive plays of 15 or more yards. This dude was insane. A true takeover performance as a wide receiver. And it felt like a lot of what the Vikings were doing was clicking in the best ways, especially towards the end there. Look, I'm not saying that Kirk Cousins is up there with some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, like Patrick Mahomes level, like Josh Allen when he's on, like guys like that. I'm not saying that Kirk Cousins is to that level. But he is playing better this year. And I think that people need to recognize that. Dalvin Cook is still a home run waiting to happen out of the backfield. Jefferson can clearly carry that offense. The offensive line, you've highlighted it before on this show, playing well. Zadarius Smith, Danielle Hunter, those two guys making a case for being one of the best pass rush duos in the NFL. Yeah, okay, maybe the secondary is lacking some stars. They've got some veterans that are kind of on the later years of their career. But this Vikings team is legit. And I really do think they're legit. I know that when we put teams in tiers, we often like to do so mathematically, where we say, how many times would we take this team over another one? Or how many times we could, for example, like everybody always goes through the Chiefs, right? How many times would the Vikings beat the Chiefs? They played 10 times. I don't know, two, three. Yeah. But Mike, the fact of the matter is, they could win 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
To me, that puts them in one of the top tiers of the NFL. Are they a runaway team? Am I going to have them favored in a game if I'm putting money on the line? No. But can they win? Yes. And I think that we've seen it time and time again so far this season. I think this is a huge statement game for the Vikings because they are absolutely legit. I don't think they're this team that's going to go away quietly. And in fact, you string a couple of wins together in the playoffs against an NFC that's not that strong, and this team could really be in a situation where they're in the Super Bowl at the end of the year. I really do believe that.
Yeah, and to go back to Jefferson, and obviously because the NFC is just like kind of wide open after the Eagles. Like, it's like, can they beat the Eagles? I think so.
Yes.
With this roster. And then at that point, are you, I don't want to say are you scared of anyone else, but it's like, are you on anyone else in the NFC? It's pretty much going to be a coin flip in the playoffs with the Vikings. Like, they're not going to be huge dogs in any of those games. But to go back to Jefferson, he, to me, is why, everyone talks about, when you get to draft season, you talk about wingspan, arm length, that sort of conversation that gets thrown out ad nauseum. He is why. He's only 6'1". He is not a tall wide receiver, but the amount of plays he's able to make outside his frame because he has 33-inch arms, because he is built far longer than your average 6'1" human being is impressive, and obviously the game changer there at the end, the one-hander. Yeah, Justin Jefferson. I'm not going to say, he's definitely wide receiver 1 in the NFL. I don't really care about that conversation
we'll
right
get
now.
to that.
But
I'll care
he
about
is
it.
a wide receiver 1 that I don't care what your defense is. You have to account for him every single play.
I will absolutely get into that conversation. All of a sudden, man, the playoff picture looks a lot different, and we're going to segue into that, the game that mattered most for the playoffs. But you mentioned that this game could have easily been in our category for the game that shaped the playoffs because it's got 2 major playoff teams in it. Buffalo's currently 6-3. It's not like they're a bad football team, but they're currently sitting here at 6-3, and they're the 6th seed overall in the AFC because the AFC is so stacked. Minnesota's sitting there at the 2. They're right on the heels of the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia drops 1 or 2. Minnesota could overtake them, man. They could end up being the 1 seed when it's all said and done, which I did not think was going to be in the cards. Obviously, Philly's got a good divisional game Monday Night Football tonight against the Commanders. But Miami now leading the AFC East at 7-3. Feels like they're in the driver's seat too because it looks like they're going in the right direction. They've also got the tiebreaker over the Buffalo Bills. And you know who else has a tiebreaker over the Buffalo Bills? Somehow the New York Jets. New York Jets have the tiebreaker over the Bills. So, man, it's certainly not, like I said, like it's not like season over or anything like that for the Buffalo Bills. They're going to make the playoffs. But it's not the shoe-in that they're going to be a 1 seed or they're going to host throughout the playoffs or whatever it is. I mean, like they're in a dogfight now. They're in a dogfight for that position. So